Just have a good. Yes, ma'am.
Am I allowed?
You are allowed.
Hey, everybody. Kind of nervous. Okay, so whenever he asked me to do this, I was like, crap, in my mind, because I really didn't want to, but I didn't tell him that. But I'm going to do it anyways. But I've been going here all my life, when I've actually tried other different churches and stuff, but I've always came back to this one. I went to camps and went with friends and stuff, but I've always came back to this one. And whenever Brother Tom asked me to do this, he told me to start out with, what does Jesus mean to you? And I had to think about it for a little while, but Jesus means to me love, kindness, and compassion, and always loves me even when I do wrong. Ask my mom, because I do that every day. But made me realize that everyone is a sinner, and sin is kind of like puking. Everyone does it, and we don't want to, but it happens anyways. Just what humans do, they puke. But I started having seizures May of 2010, and whenever I went to the hospital that day, they did every scan that they could, and they didn't find anything. So after about my second or third seizure, they put me on epileptic medicine, and I'm still on it to this day for just about 2 years. And my doctor always refused to give me an MRI with my braces because you can't have anything metal in there. And after I got them off, December 1st, my seizures began to become more frequent. And so he finally scheduled me an MRI, and that night after resurrection, I got one. And I remember that day, I was kind of nervous and stuff, and people told me that you can like take a nap or whatever, and I was like, okay, nap, I like to sleep. But I remember praying that day that for the doctors to find something and it be fixable. And so I went and got the MRI and stuff, and the next morning Miss Land got me out of class saying I had a doctor's appointment. And it was right after the announcements, and I was like, well, I don't remember having a doctor's appointment. Who told me? It's rude. No one tells me about my doctor's appointments. But it was an emergency, so I didn't think anything of it until I remember the MRI the night before. Then I kind of started getting worried, but we quickly drove over to Erlanger with Gran, and Sissy met us there, and I kept my cool mostly for my mom because she was kind of nervous. She gets nervous a lot. But I didn't really say anything on the way there. I didn't want to ask any questions, so I just kind of kept my mouth shut. So whenever the doctor came in, I watched him sketch a brain on the piece of his paper. And I sat there quietly. I didn't say anything. I was just like, okay, we're just going to go. And then I saw him draw a dot on my right side, about right here. And then he said that he told us that I had a brain tumor. And that's when I really, really broke down, and I was really upset. But I was so scared. I was so mad and sad at the same time. I was asking God, why? Why did this happen to me? And right then, my dad came in. He came in late. My dad's fashionably late. And my eyes went directly to his sweatshirt. And I haven't told anybody this, but my eyes directly went to his sweatshirt that he was wearing that he got at Resurrection a few years back. And it had, there's a store called Abercrombie & Fitch. Well, it said a breadcrumb and fish, and it had a fish on it. And it was related to whenever Jesus broke the bread and the fish, and the story of Matthew whenever he fed the 3,000. I think that's the number. I hope I'm right. Sorry if I'm not. And the thousands. And in big words, it said, he still works miracles. And then it just all clicked. And didn't I ask for this? Didn't I ask that for them to find something and it be fixable? And it came to my realization that I did, and I actually got what I wanted. I got what I asked for. And my doctor, he was really smart. Like, he wouldn't really talk about regular stuff. He was a perfectionist, and he was totally kicking himself down for not getting me an MRI sooner. And because I had my braces, and he said that from now on he will start giving MRIs to kids who have braces or not, just for the safety of it. And even though my tumor is small, it's still tough, but I know everything will be all right. But to think about it, it's hard to explain. To think about it like that, just think if a kid has a brain tumor that's deeper than mine and bigger than mine and life-threatening. And to think of it like that, if they have braces like I did and they get an MRI sooner, that could totally save their life. And I'm just thankful that mine's in a very operable place, and it's very small, and it's easy to get out. And even though it's small, it's still tough, but I know everything will be okay. And in biology last semester, there was a sign hanging on the corkboard that, because it's biology. When you're in there, you're going to get bored. So you just look around all over the walls and kind of see everything in there. But and on the corkboard, it said, there was a little ceramic sign hanging, and it said, "God places the heaviest burdens on those who can carry the weight." And I now understand what that means. Thank you.